What's going on, YouTube? This is Jim Afanis, and today I want to talk to you guys briefly about this hubbub over at Microsoft. So, there has been some crazy news that has been coming out of Microsoft the last couple of days, and people are wondering, is it the end of days? And I just wanted to weigh in a little bit on that. So, there are three big things that have happened at Microsoft's camp in the last day or so. The first is that the Xbox Live architect, he calls himself The Vowel. He was the first guy to have an Xbox Live handle, and he chose the letter E as in Echo. And he has decided that he is leaving Microsoft. And he's seems like a pretty young guy. He's leaving a couple days before Halo, obviously, which is definitely going to be taxing on the system. So there's a lot of questions regarding that. He goes on to say that after 14 and a half years working at Xbox and a little over 18 and a half at Microsoft, today is my last day. It's been an amazing ride. So long, and thanks for the gamer score. His exit may put some fear in the hearts of savvy Halo fans. And obviously he was there from the beginning, and Halo 2 is really credited as kind of the genesis of Xbox Live. Obviously, the two are very, very connected together. I don't think you would have a successful Halo 2 without a successful Xbox Live, and vice versa. So that's the first piece of interesting Microsoft news. The second piece of interesting Microsoft news is they announced that they're not going to be releasing sales figures in a traditional way anymore. They're going to instead come up with this new crazy metric that kind of talks about overall activity as opposed to sales. Now, Phil Spencer has been very clear from the beginning and very vocal about it, even as of like a week or two ago, that he is very painfully aware that Xbox is significantly lacking sales figures compared to Sony, and that the console war is over. Microsoft is pretty much out of it in terms of overall sales. Not to take away from what the console has. Obviously, I'm a new adopter myself, so I don't think there's anything to do with any kind of animosity in that respect. I'm just saying that there's nothing to say. They lost. They made some shit decisions at the beginning, and they're paying for it. A lot of people spoke with their wallets, and that's what happens. So it's weird that they're making this decision now. And then the third big piece of news is that it was announced that Halo 5 could potentially be coming to PC, which is a pretty big deal. We haven't had a PC port since the original Halo Combat Evolved. A lot of people have wondered why. Gears of War has made its way to PC, but Halo has not. Now, you look at each of those individual pieces of news, and there are probably very realistic explanations as to each individual news story. So Eric could have just said, hey, you know what? I made a shit ton of money at Microsoft. I've been working at this company for 20 years. Peace. And he's going off to do his own company or retire. If I could retire tomorrow, I would, but I can't. So I got to keep working. One day I'll retire, and they'll say, geez, is Jim retiring because, the company's going to hell or this or that? No. Maybe he's just retiring. You don't know. As far as the console sales, maybe Microsoft is just tired of saying, yeah, we done screwed up. We done screwed up. We know we're behind. Maybe they're just trying something different. I mean, how many months do we have to beat these guys up? Yeah, you guys made some really stupid decisions at the beginning. Yeah, it cost you. And just like as I'm finding out in Forza, and I'll be doing a video on Forza here later in the week, it's all about that exit speed, and it's all about how you come out of that corner and what your momentum is. And if you come out of a corner with shit momentum, cars are going to pass you left and right. And on a launch, when your console has a lot of weird issues with it, and there's a lot of policies that people were not favorable of, your exit trajectory is just a little bit slower. And guess what happens? This happens. You get pasted 2-to-1 in sales, 2.5-to-1 in sales. You could bundle it. You could sell it cheaper. It doesn't matter. You lost. So maybe they're just tired of saying, hey, you know what? PlayStation sold 80 trillion copies, and we only sold 50 trillion copies. Maybe they're just tired of saying that. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I mean, I don't really care what the sale numbers are. I mean, I guess at the beginning I was curious as a fan, but I mean, the true gamer, the guy that they're making the console for, is going to get them all. He's going to play them all, or she, and is going to enjoy them without bias. Now, I have a PC. I'm in the Nintendo world. I'm in the Nintendo mobile world. I'm in, the Sony world, the Xbox world, VR when it comes out. I'll have it all. I'll play it all. But that's who I am. I mean, the whole, trying to cater to the base and say, well, this is for the true PlayStation Nation. Let's forget those Xbots and all that kind of like that. It was interesting at the beginning, only from a standpoint to see which way the consumer was going to go. But we all knew the consumer was going to side with PlayStation, and they did. Okay, so that can be easily explained. And as far as Halo, I think it could be easily explained that they're really stepping up their Windows 10. There's a lot of synchronicity, if that is a word, or the synchronization, however you want to call it, between what Xbox One is doing and what Windows 10 is doing. Obviously, you can play games from your Xbox and stream them on your Windows 10. They just came out with the adapter that allows you to plug in your Xbox 360 wirelessly into your PC, and you can play games that way. You could still use the standard Ethernet cable, but now there's actually like a wireless adapter. The Xbox Elite controller just came out, which is a huge PC peripheral, kind of butting heads with the Steam controller in terms of like that market space. So it makes sense that they may be saying, you know what, we shouldn't like rob one to pay for the other. If we can sell Halo, wouldn't you want to sell as many copies as you could? Wouldn't you want to say, you know what, we're going to make it for Xbox, and if we cannibalize our Xbox market for PC, so what? Because ultimately there are people that only have one or the other. The true fans are going to buy it no matter what. And then the people who are maybe on the fence on the PC side may decide to try it out themselves. So I can't see how it would hurt anything, especially with, again, this linkage right now, what's going on, this linkage between the Xbox One and Windows 10. It makes a lot of sense. And this could be the renaissance that us PC master racers have been waiting for in terms of a re-envisioning of the Games for Windows Live service, which was horrendous. But maybe this is the first step towards mending that. Maybe you get a huge game like Halo 5 on the PC, show off all the amazing, cool things it can do, and try to get people invested in it that way. Now, the big problem, obviously, going forward is to see if they truly do bring the game to Halo to PC, is if they're going to do that whole parity thing, where they're going to dumb down the PC version such that it's not a better experience than on the Xbox One version, better frame rates, better textures, better whatever, because we all know that PC is superior to every console in terms of overall performance. So it makes natural sense that it would run better, right? But if they're looking to do some sort of cross-play, and I'm just dreaming here, maybe they'll do the same thing that they did on maybe they'll segregate it and they'll say, you know what, go as crazy as you want on PC, but you'll never play with Xbox. However, I feel like they're going to want that connection to try to bleed people into the ecosphere. And then it wouldn't be fair to have my draw distance is better than yours, so that wouldn't be good in a competitive standpoint. So that's where I feel like that parity piece would come in. Destiny was very similar in that. Destiny segregates the PlayStation from the PlayStation 4, the 3 and the 4, the Xbox. They're all separate because they look better, and you're going to have a graphical advantage over another player. So, but those three news stories in themselves, like I said, completely explainable. They make perfect sense, but I think people are just thinking, oh, the writing's on the wall for Microsoft. I don't even think that's even remotely close. They said they lost some money. Yeah, that makes sense. They're transitioning from one technology to another. If you look at the historical revenue of major companies, when major technologies transfer over, in this case the 360 to the Xbox One, the PlayStation 3 to the 4, DVD to Blu-rays, regular TVs, the high-definition TVs, there's always a lull as the consumer gets smart, and there's that period where you kind of don't know what you want to do. And this happens all the time. So I don't think Microsoft is going anywhere. I'm not saying that everyone is implying that, but I've seen a lot of that on the internet. I've seen a lot of it on Reddit. I've seen a lot of it on the forums that I frequent on Facebook and other websites. And I'm just, my 2 cents, somebody who just jumped into the Xbox world again, I think it's great. I think it's a great service. I like what I'm seeing from them. I think they're only going to get better. I think they only can get better because of, if you look what Don Matrick did with the company and the way it was kind of swerving, and now, you know, with Phil behind the wheel. I think you're going to see a lot of changes, and it's going to continue to get better. So I'm eager. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to see where this takes off. But to insinuate by any means that Xbox or Microsoft is on their way out, or they're getting ready to march out of the console race, come on, guys. I mean, how goofy is that? You know, that just does not make any sense. Anyways, that's my 2 cents on that. I'll probably have some more play videos for you guys this weekend. I've been playing a crap ton of Destiny. I got that new exotic helmet from Xur, and I'll be talking about that a little bit later on in the weekend. So stay tuned for that video. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching. Please do me a favor. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about the impending doom of the Xbox and Microsoft ecosphere. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.